For those who don't know me, my name is Meredith Oram. I'm a fitness and nutrition consultant at Below the Fork, where I encourage women to love themselves towards healthy. I'm also a digital marketer and a mom of 2 boys. Hey guys, so I wanted to talk today about a stronger, deeper goal than weight loss. And I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about what I do during discovery calls when I'm launching another round of my Love Yourself Towards Healthy Fit Camp on Monday, May 2nd. So this week and next, I'll be having lots of phone calls with potential clients. And I just wanted to talk to you guys, kind of walk you through where some of the questions I ask when I'm on these initial phone calls, just to see what people's past experiences are, what their goals are. So we're going to talk specifically about goals and why I look for deeper goals than just a simple weight loss. Like, I need to dive deeper into that, and so I'm going to talk a little bit how. So again, my name is Meredith Oram. I should have also mentioned that I do have my location on, but I have it locked down, so you can only comment if I am following you back. So if you love this content, I Periscope most days, so please just drop me a line, Ms. Mayor Oram at belowthefork.com. I'll be sure to follow you back, and then it won't be an issue in the future, and you can comment. Okay, so deeper goals than weight loss, and why weight loss isn't a good enough goal, or at least one that will stand for the long haul, and here's why. When you think about weight loss, sometimes we have a number that maybe that's what you weighed senior year of college, or that's what you weighed on your wedding day, or there's some event tied to that number. Why have you come up with that particular number? One that can lead us down the path of being too focused on numbers and what the scale is saying. And the scale is like such a minute part, particularly for my program. My program is intentionally called Love Yourself Towards Healthy for a reason. I don't want a hyper focus on the scale. I don't want to hyper focus on these sometimes arbitrary numbers that really, in the grand scheme of things, don't mean anything. What I want people's goals to be, and what I want the purpose of my program to serve, is the feeling of healthy, the feeling of confidence, the feeling of accomplishment, and healing your gut, and just really feeling better and more in control. So that comes in the form of having lots of energy for your family, for yourself, if you're a mom, for your kids, being able to get out there and play, or take them for bike rides, play lacrosse or soccer, you know, whatever. And then also just the feeling that your body is working most effectively and most efficiently, and we can do that by, sometimes you don't even realize you have food sensitivities, and that's what's preventing you from feeling your best. And when you don't feel your best, it seeps into all aspects of your life. So when someone comes to me and says, I want to lose weight, I want to weigh 150 pounds, I have to ask so many questions to kind of layer that. And I never shut anyone down immediately when they come. I think a lot of people have that as an initial goal because they think that's supposed to be their goal. You know, I'm a fitness and nutrition specialist. They think that, you know, we've kind of been, I don't even know where it stems from, but for some reason we always think like, oh, the number on the scale, maybe for programs that are literally called Weight Watchers, has us programmed to be thinking that the number on the scale is where we achieve victory. And that's not true at all, guys. Not true at all. So when someone says that, I'm starting to ask more questions like, what are your short-term goals? Because sometimes that uncovers, oh, well, I want to weigh 150 pounds again because my sister's getting married in 3 months and I'm her maid of honor. So now we know there's an experience tied to that. There's a short-term goal, so I know that the motivation will be pretty strong for those 3 months, but then we need to think about after the wedding. What are we going to do to maintain that? Because then it might not become as motivational anymore. In fact, most of the times you see that a lot, and why these sort of quick fix type programs are so popular is because people have a specific event, a specific reason, but they don't think beyond that. So up front, that motivation is awesome, and particularly for a 6-week program like I have, I know that they're going to stay in it to win it. But you know, my goal has always been to educate so that this becomes a lifestyle for the long haul. So then once I find out that, it's like, okay, so what are your long-term goals? And long-terms is like beyond 6 months or beyond that specific event. And then I want to know specifically what kind of exercise programs they have done in the past. This gives me an insight as to what they've done, what they like, what they don't like, but also it sort of leads, hey Amanda, it leads into the conversation of why do they think they gave it up in the past. So say someone was super into Zumba and they lost a significant amount of weight doing Zumba, but they're not doing it anymore and they're looking to do something else. So that's a great opportunity for me to delve into that conversation deeper of, okay, so did you like Zumba? Like what stopped you from going? And depending on what the answer is, maybe it's, oh, well, my favorite class was on Tuesday nights and I started having to work late on Tuesday, so I could no longer make the class. So that tells me they still love Zumba. Dance is still sort of the line they want to go in. It's just a matter of finding one that aligns better with their schedule. I can help them with that. If it turns out, well, I really hurt my knee from that and I don't think I can go back and do dance, then I know I need to help them find a lower impact one, and it also opens up that conversation for their past injuries. So that's why it's super important, specifically if you are a health coach. I know we don't officially stand there and take an oath like doctors, but for me, it is so important that I'm not just shoving my program on people and being like, here, do it, and like that's the blueprint for success, you're good to go. Because I know it might not work for everybody. There are still things I need to customize and everything, but I really want to understand their why. And so other questions, okay, what I like most and least about previous exercise programs, that gives me insight, and what their favorite activities are outside. So whether that's taking a walk with their family or their dog, gardening, they're sort of everyday type activities. The ones that we don't really assign as exercise per se, we just do them, but it helps me give insight into what their schedule is and what they enjoy doing. Maybe they don't even like to be outside. Maybe they actually love doing yard work, and that's an opportunity for me as well to encourage them. If you do more, that's exercise. And when my goal too is to find exercise programs for them where it doesn't feel like exercise, because when it really feels like exercise, you don't like to do it as much, but when it's just fun and enjoyable, then you tend to do more. And so another deeper question I have in trying to really, hey Miranda, how are you? I haven't seen you for a while. Another question that I really like to ask to get deeper into those goals, so again, we're trying to get beyond that weight loss goal, and I need to find out really what the ultimate why is, what is their motivation behind there, so that we can establish a goal that is more specific to them. So what kind of support do they have? This is crucial, and it's a conversation that it might even be one of the most important questions actually that I ask my clients when I'm on those discovery calls, because that really sort of paints the picture and the foundation of how they're going to be. They might start out of the gate super strong and really excited, but if they have a spouse or some other environmental factor that isn't there to support them, and not saying that it has to be someone who's going to maliciously thwart their efforts, but just the little things. If you have a spouse who's not on board and is still going to want to eat, hoagies every night and such, then, we have to come up with other courses of action so that they can overcome that. Or even something as simple, even something as simple as someone, they work full-time and they're in one of those offices where it's like, donuts in the conference room every day, and, there's constantly birthday parties and, just those triggers that you can't seem to always avoid, and just finding ways that they can overcome that. And so just finding out what their weaknesses are as well. And so then also I like to know what they have done in the past. So this kind of goes beyond the exercise. We talked a little bit about that too, but also from a nutrition standpoint. For me, I want to know what has worked for them before, or why they stopped working it. So, for instance, in my last round of Fit Camp, I had somebody who was doing a South Beach diet. And so that I had to kind of backpedal a couple things that she had learned from that program and explain to why, you know, I do different things in mine. But then also just understanding that if she had successes on there, I want to know about that too. Because, and I've said this a million times, but there's no one size fits all nutrition program that is going to work on everybody. There's just not. There's always going to be success stories for every single diet program out there, even ones that sound ridiculous to you. There's always going to be a successful story. And there's also people who are going to not do well on it at all. They're going to have some serious adverse side effects. And that doesn't mean that they did the program incorrectly or the program's terrible. It just did not work with their body's chemistry and the way their body works. So I like hearing about that because then I can see again where I need to tweak my program specifically for them. And so really the ultimate question too is what motivates them? Because this is where I can discover, is this an intrinsic motivation, which means it's coming from deep inside of them. They have made that decision for themselves that they are ready to make a change. Those are the best clients, P.S. They themselves have decided they're ready to make a change. And now we can uncover, you know, their goals and get beyond that weight loss goal. Or we can find out through motivation, well, I went to the doctors and my blood pressure is really high. That might work for a small period of time, that's their motivation because they want to get their numbers and test scores and be healthy. But I'm also a little cautious there because it might just be, you know, a 2-week, oh, I'm all into this, and then they fade off. We need to work to find motivation that's intrinsic internally that they have figured out for themselves. Other external motivators might be, oh, my husband wants me to lose weight, and what falls into this category too, going back to our example of, you know, being the maid of honor in your sister's wedding, that's a little bit of an external in a sense because it's still you deciding to make that decision, but it's for an external factor, not because you want to feel your best. So ultimately, just kind of with all these questions that I ask my potential new clients, it's really, again, just trying to get deeper into their why. And, you know, we talk about why all the time, but it truly is the most important factor in any venture that you're doing. But for weight loss, for me, I'm always looking for people who have that motivation to move forward. If they're just like, well, I want to lose 10 pounds for, I don't know, I can't think of an example right now, but I need to be aware that they're not just doing it for weight loss, particularly for my program. I feel like I'm up against these quick fix programs. I am not a quick fix program at all. I'm a lifestyle change. And so when somebody seriously wants that, like, I absolutely need to lose 10 pounds in 6 weeks, I might not take them on as a client, and that's okay. You know, you don't have to, if any of my fellow health coaches or business coaches on here, you don't have to take every client you speak to. In fact, I would kind of caution you if you have been doing that, because that's when you start compromising your program and your goals, your own goals. If you have people that aren't, I'm not saying everyone needs to be 100% compliant. Believe me, I have clients who haven't, but there's always been some aspect that they've really clung on to. Actually, I had a client in my last round of Fit Camp. She wanted nothing to do with my nutrition. Exactly, I know, and that's what I'm up against. I think a lot of us are up against. She didn't want anything to do with my nutrition. She was happy with what she was doing. She wanted purely my exercise program, which was cool. And you know what? She was the most successful in the exercise than anyone else in the program of my last round of Fit Camp. So that was, you know, she knew what her goal was, and she met that goal. But I knew that up front. I knew that, you know, she's like, oh, you know, I'll take your recipe ideas and all that, but as far as following along specifically with each week, I'm not going to do that. Is that okay? But she was very upfront, so it was fine. But I know, well, it was really cool. And then I really loved that she totally adhered to the program, because a lot of times I'm finding I have more people who are more zero focused on the nutrition than they are the exercise. And I tend to go that way too in supporting them, because a lot of them, I know that they're active people. but they really need to zero in on that nutrition. So it was cool to kind of have the opposite of that. But she knew it, and you know, I always give a survey at the end of my fit camp, and she specifically said that, and she's a great testimonial actually, because she did it and she proved that, you know, that it can be done during nap time, and she was able to finally get her fitness in control. So anyway, the long short of my scope today, just to recap before I jump off, having the goal of just simply weight loss or losing 10 pounds or some specific number is not enough. It may be for a short duration of the time, but we're always looking to keep that motivation going, what's going to extend beyond that first couple weeks of the program when everyone is gung-ho and excited about it, but what's going to extend you beyond not only a 6-week program, but beyond that. And just sort of the questions, I listed them out of ones that I asked my potential new clients during discovery calls, so I can have a better understanding of their why, because when I can have a better understanding, I can give them the tools they need to be successful and to remind them of what those little motivators and why, like reminding them of their why and how we're accomplishing them one little step at a time. So thank you ladies so much for joining me. Again, my name is Meredith Orem. You can find me below the fork across all social media channels. I would love to connect with you. And again, I had said this before, but I have my location on, but I locked it down. So unless I am following you, you were unable to comment. But if you are a real person and would love to connect more, please drop me a note. You can go to belowthefork.com/contact. Fill out my form there, Ms. Meredith Orem at belowthefork.com. Email me directly. And I would love to follow you back so that next time you can comment. So have a great day. Bye-bye.